Welcome. In this video, we're going to talk about streaming. So whenever you go to ChatGPT and you ask a question that takes some time, something like, give me some info on Git. As you can see, this takes some time to respond for ChatGPT, and it takes some, it slowly updates your information. That's called streaming. So it's not as easy, and if you look at their APIs, this is basically what they recommend. They have an API for calling the OpenAI, and you basically give the prompt, and then you process a stream like that, and it's quite complicated. But Web Digital really makes that simple. So we're going to actually see how you can do that in Web Digital. So before we get started, you need to add the OpenAI secret. So that's your API key that you get when you start sign up with the OpenAI API. And you can enter that over here, new secret, and I already entered it under the name OpenAI, and we're going to see how that's used in a little bit. So I'm going to create a brand new website, just a blank website. Let's call this API test. And, we're going to make so let's just make this a little bit narrower and center it just so that, it can look a little bit nicer. So I'm going to make the size, let's make it about this much. And we can center it using the auto margin. And so this is our general output area. And we're going to be adding a button. So that's dynamic input. And let's just make that button centered as well. So we can make it like that. It's pretty small right now, so you can't really see it. So let's just add some padding so that we can see it. Let's increase the font size. And maybe let's name it Stream API. Okay. So when we click on this, we're going to be streaming the information. So we need something to show the information over here. And we're going to be streaming the information directly as HTML, just like what it does over here. So we need an HTML, dynamic HTML display element, which is over here. So we're going to be adding the dynamic HTML. And so when we call this, its source needs to come from the state. So I'm going to add a little state called response. And I'm going to initialize it to empty. And whenever we display this information, it needs to come from state. Okay. So as you can see, nothing is showing right now because we haven't called anything. Okay. So this is our UI basically. So now let's start focusing on the backend. So we're going to come into the API. Let's call this chat API. And we're going to need the OpenAI library, as you can see over here. So let's just come over to npm libraries, and we're going to be adding over here OpenAI. And when we add it, this is the latest version, as you can see. So when you click on it, you can see in the npm 455.7, 455.7. So now that dependency is added. All right, so I'm just going to copy and paste the code for the API call. It's not that big, but it does require some explanation. So let me just come over here. Okay, let's save this. So what's happening here is we first import the OpenAI package, and when we then initialize our OpenAI with the OpenAI secret key, as I showed before. And then just like it's shown over here, we're calling their API to make the completion. And one thing to note here, we're asking it to respond in HTML. So this is the system prompt. So that's basically setting up the conversation. And whatever the API was sent as message, that's what we're sending. And we're using GPT-4o mini model, and we're going to be streaming the output. Now, this basically returns an async iterable object. As you can see, normally this is the way that it's processed, but Web Digital really makes that much simpler by converting into a regular stream object. And so you can actually use this stream utility, and so that converts it to converts the async iterable into a readable readable stream. And this is basically what the OpenAI sends, really, the choices 0 delta content. So that's basically the actual string that they're streaming. Okay, so that's our API call. And we imported the OpenAI NPM library, so that's coming from there. And yeah, I think we are ready to make our call. So let's just come over here to our client side, and we're going to be adding an event, click event handler. All right. So let's just come over here. So what we're going to do is, let me just copy this code. So when the button is clicked, we're going to be calling the stream API call. So if you hover over this, this is basically another utility function that Web Digital provides. So this is used to call the API and stream its response back. So this is used when the API is returning streams, just like what we converted the OpenAI async iterable to. And then whenever we receive, so this is the initial call that we're sending, like the actual message. So we can actually get this from the UI, but for now that's outside of our scope. And as we receive the data, this is the function that's going to be executed. So let's just add it over here as well. So what that function does is it takes the response that's being sent, and then it updates it in the state. So when it updates in the state, then the dynamic HTML gets updated and they basically display it. Okay, so let's just go ahead and try this. And yeah, it is working. So this is the core response that it sent. We basically said over here, we just said hello. So there was not much to say. So let's just say, give me some info on Git. And let's close that and call it. And there you go. So now this is coming just like what we saw over here on the ChatGPT window. You can do it over here on your own websites. And you can do it if you go into the front end, that's working there as well. So yeah, it's as simple as that. Thank you very much for watching.